Hi kids, so I would like us to look at question number 21 from your second paper. This is to do with functions. So let's read the question. For all values of x, f of x is equal to 2x plus 5 and g of x is equal to x squared minus 25. And we want to work out the value of g of minus 6. So what this wants you to do is it wants you to substitute minus 6 into your g of x function. And we're going to do that as soon as I can grab a pen. So if you want to work out g of minus 6, wherever we see x, we're now going to say minus 6. So you're substituting. So that's going to be minus 6 squared minus 25. I put the minus 6 in brackets because if you just square minus 6 without the brackets, you're going to get minus 36, which is wrong, because we know that when we square a negative, we're always going to get a positive. So you should write it like this in your calculators. I'm going to do a bit of mental maths because it's quite early. So I'm going to square minus 6. Minus times minus is plus. 6 times 6 is 36. So that's a positive 36. Minus 25. And if I'm not wrong, I think that's 9. Just press divide. This is wrong. Okay. 25 there. Calculator skills are not where it's at this morning. Okay, so the actual answer was 11. Lol. All right, so the next one is we want to show that g f of x is equal to 4x squared plus 20x. So this basically wants you to substitute your expression for f of x into g of x. That's all they want. So they want to sub f of x into g of x. Okay, so wherever I see x in g of x, I'm just going to write the expression for f of x, which is 2x plus 5. So I'm going to give it a go. So I've got g f of x is equal to, now you see I've got an x squared here. So instead of saying x squared, I'm going to say f of x squared. So I'm going to say 2x plus 5 squared, and then take away the 25. This one I'm going to expand it as normal. So I'm going to do that to the side. I've got 2x plus 5 times by 2x plus 5. So that's 4x squared plus 10x plus 10x plus 25. I can simplify that. So I'm going to get 4x squared plus 20x plus 25. So I put this back in to my function here. So I've got 4x squared plus 20x plus 25. And then I have to bring this minus 25 down. Now, if you've got plus 25 minus 25, they cancel out. Yeah, it brings you back to 0. So all we've got left for g f of x is equal to 4x squared plus 20x. And there you go, examiner. There you go. Okay, so last one. It's asking us to solve g of fx, which we have here, is equal to g of 7. So it's a multi-step thing that they've got going on. So we already have this one because they gave it to us in the previous part of the question. So that's going to be 4x squared plus 20x. And for g of 7, I basically have to substitute 7 into the function of g. So g of 7 is equal to 7 squared minus 25. So that's 49 minus 25, which is 24. Okay, so now I can make these equal to each other. So I can say 4x squared plus 20x equals to 24. Now, to solve an equation, a quadratic equation, I have to make it equal to 0. So I take away 24 on both sides. They cancel out. So I've got 4x squared plus 20x minus 24 equals 0. Now what I can do is I can look at all my terms, and I see that all of the coefficients, so the numbers in front of the unknowns, are divisible by 4. So to make life slightly less of a living hell for myself, I'm just going to divide everything by 4. So I'm going to do that in red. Thank you. So divide by 4, divide by 4, divide by 4. Okay, so I'm going to follow on here. 4x squared divided by 4 is x squared. 20x divided by 4 is 5x. And 24 divided by 4 is 6, and I copy the minus. And that's still equal to 0. Great, so that's slightly more easier to work with. So what I want to do now is factorize it and solve it. So I'm thinking of two numbers that multiply to give me minus 6 and add to give me 5, positive 5. So I'm thinking of I think I'm going to go with 6 and 1. Okay, because of the minus 6 here, I know that my numbers have to be different signs when they multiply. So that's why I'm going with this pair. So they have to be different size because the answer to their multiplication is a negative. And then when I subtract them, I need to get a positive. So the 6 needs to be the positive because it's bigger, and the 1 has to be the negative because it's smaller, and I'm still aiming for a positive 5. Okay, now that I found my answers, I can just put them in brackets. That equals 0. So x plus 6 equals 0. X minus 1 equal to 0. Now take each bracket and make it equal to 0. So x plus 6 equals 0. If I take away 6 on both sides, I'm going to get x equals to minus 6. And if I make the second one equal to 0, x minus 1 equals 0, add 1 to both sides. So x is equal to 1. So there you go, you solved it. So that's it. These are functions done.